Bro, yeah, you should. It's not about what he did. You should apologize.
But I don't even funny.
That's what I'm saying. So let's move it.
All right. First thing I want to mention on this video right now is that BRIGHTO is a big cow. It's a big one. Period. There's nothing anybody's gonna tell me, but that guy is a freaking douchebag. What was that? What was that he was displaying on the show tonight? What was that? That was completely ridiculous. BRIGHTO had no reason whatsoever to say such offensive things about Praise's fiance inside the house on national television, a show that was viewed by millions of people all over the world, and then you're coming onto the reunion. In fact, before the reunion, you did not even deem it fit to apologize, yeah? And then you're coming onto the reunion and you're saying that no, you do not think you should apologize. That guy is a freaking cow. A big one. No, a small one actually. A tiny cow. Anyways, before I lose my cool completely, guys, let's just take it from the top how tonight's show started. So tonight was all about the whispers, the gossips, yes, and all those crazy side talks in the house. And Ebuka decided to first of all ask the housemates on set about the craziest thing or the saddest thing that they have heard about them from their fellow housemates. So he asked Lilo. For Lilo, well, she hasn't heard anything. And then for Wathoni, it was the statement that Erica made that any guy that makes an advance at Wathoni, then the guy does not have taste. Guys, I completely remember that very day and I found that very offensive, and it made me kind of compare Erica and Wathoni for a bit back then in the house, and I just like, okay, let me reserve my comment, let me zip it before people say that Glory is a woman hater or Glory is a female hater. For Dorothy, it was a statement that V made about cooking food and putting a lot of pepper so that people that had ulcer will not eat inside the food. However, V claimed that she was misconstrued. For VS at that time, there had been a lot of squabbles in the house about food, and she was tired because I think there was the Katrina situation, there was the Lucy situation. So for her, the best solution for her was to cook food that she and her close circle in the house would eat. Then if there's anybody else that was interested in the food, then the person could go ahead and eat. Or sometimes, I think sometimes there was also the situation of people, preparing their meals and then somebody going to go and carry the food and eat without asking about who the rightful owner of that food is. So for Dorothy, well, I have ulcer, so why did you go ahead to make that statement? So for Dorothy, that was one of the things that was said about her in the house that she did not like at all. To be very honest, in as much as I really truly love V, like I truly really loved how opinionated and how vocal she was in the house, that was one of the statements she made that I did not really like, that actually got me really disappointed in her, because sometimes she says some things and for her she's just saying her own part, but people who do not understand the context of what she's saying, at the end of the day, they just misinterpret that, okay, fine, she's actually throwing shades at someone. And that was the exact same way that Dorothy felt. But she was trying to explain herself to Dorothy, but apparently Dorothy had already zeroed her mind on that. So Ebuka was asking her, but didn't you know that Dorothy actually had ulcer? And she was asking Dorothy like, okay, but haven't you eaten my food before? You don't even eat my food a lot of times. And Dorothy was like, oh yes, I've eaten your food, there's always pepper in your food, but then I still felt like you shouldn't have made that statement. So guys, V's claim is that it was all about the context, and she was actually misconstrued because she made that statement without making reference to Dorothy. So Dorothy taking it personal right now, for her, she felt like Dorothy was just being wrong. And Ebuka asked the housemates to pick up a piece of paper and vote for who they think or feel was the biggest gossip in the house. And then guys, guess who? BRIGHTO's name came up the most. Ebuka decided to scatter all the tables, and then he played the clip where BRIGHTO was actually gossiping about Neo and Praise to Kidwire. Now guys, if you cast your minds back, BRIGHTO and Kidwire, they developed a kind of friendship in the house that saw Kidwire being the boss that would chill, and then BRIGHTO would cook, bring food to Kidwire, and then over the meal, he will start saying a lot of things about other housemates. Now, that very day, he said a lot of things about Neo, like, oh, Neo is very fake, Neo lies a lot, and we all knew that, of course, everything he was saying about Neo was true. But then, the question is, why did he make it seem like it was a terrible scene in the house because, hey, Bright, you were also doing your own thing. Yeah, from the onset of everybody going into the house, you were quite quiet and evasive, and then boom, all of a sudden you became the Lord Baelish, you became the manipulator, you became the instigator. So you making or staging Neil's situation, it made it look like, oh my God, Neil was the worst person in the house at that time. About Praise, the things he said to Praise, that was the part that actually got me to, you know, rant the way I did at the beginning of this video. So he was actually telling Kidwire that Praise this and that, lies a lot, talks a lot, and blah blah blah. Praise is engaged to a 60-something-year-old woman. Guys, I remember that scandal at that time. I did a video about it, and he was talking about something like whether Praise was a sugar boy. There was a way he put it that made it look like, oh, Praise was kind of a gigolo. So when Ebuka asked Praise how he felt about that conversation, Praise was like, for him, he wasn't really hurt because already BRIGHTO felt offended by the way he would always mimic him in the house, because we all knew that that was something Praise was really good at. He was always mimicking everybody in the house, and all the housemates, they would laugh about it, they would catch crews, they'll have fun. But then BRIGHTO, for some weird reason that till today we do not know, decided to bring that conversation to Kidwire. And then Praise was like, for him, he wasn't really hurt. What really hurt him was the fact that his fiance got the brunt of it, because people were looking for her page on different social media platforms, and then they were going to send her nasty messages. They were going to basically troll her. So for Praise, he wanted BRIGHTO to render a public apology because he spewed that kind of terrible information about someone he loves, you know, on national TV. That's where the conversation came up, okay? Because Ebuka was asking V, you know, what do you think? Do you think BRIGHTO should give a public apology? Now, for V's own, from her own perspective, she felt like, well, if you wanted an apology, that's for Praise. You should have gotten that apology a long time ago. Why did you have to wait to the reunion? And then Praise said he waited to the reunion because he wanted BRIGHTO to publicly apologize to his woman. You know, so since he did it, he said what he said in public, he wanted BRIGHTO to apologize in public. And then that was where BRIGHTO was saying that no, that why do they think he needs to apologize? So he was not going to apologize. Now guys, even if I felt like Praise was kind of petty to wait this long, BRIGHTO is a cow still. He's still a cow. Then there was a conversation about V nominating LILO. Guys, I will never forget my reaction on that fateful day. I was so upset. I was so livid because I think the nomination happened the very next day or the very same week after LILO and V, they'd had a conversation about LILO being together with Eric, you know, and also V and Neil's situationship. So as at that time, V had gone to, in fact, both women, they were just sharing their concerns, their fears, you know, about, oh, I'm liking this guy in the house. I'm not sure if this guy really likes me, you know. So they were just kind of like two wives whose husbands were best friends, and it was quite interesting to see how both of them, they patted each other on the back. And V specifically said to LILO, don't worry girl, I've got you. I will never forget that day. And then I think the next day or the very same week, I can't remember, but then they had the nomination and V got into the diary room and nominated LILO. And then when Big Brother asked why, she mentioned that it was because she was closer to Eric than LILO. This was very much later after the eviction had happened. Guys, I was very, very upset that day. Now, fast forward to tonight's reunion show. Ebuka was asking V that what was the exact reason, because you people were so close, you people were literally friends. What happened? V's response was that LILO did not give off the impression that she really, really wanted to stay in the house. And I'm like, V, for the very first time, because I actually expressed the same emotion as at that time when it happened. I said V was a snake, and our explanation tonight, it was completely lame, completely absurd. And although she said that she regretted it and she apologized to LILO outside the house, but thinking about it now, it still really hurt, because it's like you've told this person, you've assured this person that, hey, I've got your back. And then it was time for nomination, and then you felt by your own self that you were in the right position to say or decide that this person did not deserve to be in the house because the person was not showing enough want to be in the house. Although guys, LILO had her own fault, but hey guys, LILO orchestrated her stay in that house. She got into the house, yes, accepted. She did not show any form of seriousness. Instead, she got booed up too quickly on the very first or second day, in fact. And the first 1 week or 2 weeks she spent in that house, she had lost her chances already. People were tired because it was just too quick. The connection that she and Eric had, it was just too sudden. It was too much. But then I still felt like, nah, V, you did not do right by Lilo. You completely threw her under the bus. You completely threw her out of the house because in your mind you felt that she was not showing enough, should I say, thirst to be in the house. Guys, to be very honest, that very week I disliked V completely. But that was for only that week, because moving forward I liked her because I felt like, okay, she was very, very vocal, and hey, she was spot on. This was a conversation that completely cracked me up tonight, guys. I was laughing all through while I was watching. You need to see the way I was cracking up. I was rolling on the floor laughing. It was a gossip conversation, yes, because it was a crunk, like serious gossip between Lucy, Katrina, and Dorothy. They were gossiping about Tochi, and I think it was that very day that Tochi had a serious argument, altercation with Lucy about cleaning the house. Yeah, that very day Tochi actually messed up, but then it was a build-up of how he had been maltreated when it came to food in the house. You know, so for him, how is it that every other person who did not contribute to preparing the food, at the end of the day they got food, but he, Tochi, never ever really got food, or he literally always got a small portion, you know? So Dorothy was also complaining that, and look at himself, and when you greet him he will not answer, he'll be waiting for you to greet him back, or you, that kind of thing. So they were literally gossiping about Tochi, guys. It was a war of words. It was a war of words. And to be very honest, guys, Lucy's own hits different because she mentioned that Tochi was just following people up and down. But guys, let's be very honest though. To be very, very honest, Tochi was not in any clique. Tochi was not in any circle. So it's either he's following Nengi or he's following Kidwaya, and Kidwaya was chasing different girls in the house. So Tochi was like a one-man squad who was looking for how to fit in, you know, and at every given opportunity when maybe Nengi is doing something, he was always seconding and supporting Nengi's actions in the house. So it made him look like he was a yes man. And so in that regard, as at that time, Lucy was not really wrong, because guys, hey, remember, Lucy used to say it the way it is. So she wasn't really wrong. But then guys, the drama that followed, it was just a war of words between Tochi and Katrina. Guys, I don't know how these people do not really like each other completely, but it was just a crazy thing. But then the question that Ebuka was asking Dorothy especially was that, Dorothy, the way you said it was as if you were venting, you were ranting. If you felt that way about Tochi, that he does not usually respond to your greetings or does not reciprocate the greeting, why did you not call him and talk to him about it? And then Dorothy was like, well, we're not closing the house. And thankfully, Tochi also agreed that they were not really closing the house because a lot of things was actually going on as at that time. Now, guys, this other conversation, it was about BRIGHTO and Tochi gossiping about the relationship between Nengi and Prince. Guys, this was the period that Lord Baelish was birthed. The Apply Pressure Minister was birthed. That was the period where BRIGHTO was seriously instigating and manipulating people around the house. He was just going around the house like one spirit, trying to manipulate people, draw people into conversations, and he successfully did it because their conclusion on that particular day was that Prince did not have the financial wherewithal to date someone like Nengi. And when Ebuka asked BRIGHTO why he said what he said well, that Nengi looked like a girl that if you do not have money to sponsor all her trips, then you cannot really afford her. Guys, to be very honest, I won't lie you, with that get to know yourselves task that they did in the first few days in the house, that was what really gave Nengi away, because she had traveled to so many countries, and some of the housemates were wondering, how was this girl getting money to travel? Oh, she said she had a boyfriend. Oh, her boyfriend stays in this country. Oh, one thing. Oh, she drives one big car outside the house, I think a Benz, you know, that kind of thing. So already that was something that informed the conversation that BRIGHTO and Tochi were having. This one was actually quite funny because Wathoni, as at that time, was quite alone because a lot of people had literally paired up in the house. So she was really looking for how to get booed up, to the point that even after she was evicted, she decided to print a booed up match t-shirt, you know. So this was the part where Ebuka, guys, to be very honest, it was just a very, very funny conversation because Ebuka was asking her that, okay, what was your mission? We're just going about, you know, you were spying on Erica and Eric, and then later there was no longer Erica and Eric, but later we now had Eric and Lilo, you know. But then Tricky T's explanation was that, listen, they were just catching cruise because things were just happening in the house and they were just catching cruise. But you know what, guys, compared to last night's episode of the Bbnaija lockdown reunion show, tonight was 100% better. There was that positive drama. It was very, very entertaining. There was a lot of fun moments. It was just quite entertaining. And guys, to be very honest, can we not have the kind of boredom we had yesterday again on the show? Okay, let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys, and I will definitely respond to all of your comments. That said, I will see you all on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Glory and Elijah. Have an amazing night's rest. Bye.